Time blocking can be a very effective way to manage all of the things that you have to do in a given week. And it can also give you the added benefit to make sure that you have a balanced week between your work life, your personal life, and other things that you're responsible for. So in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how to effectively time block within Google Calendar. Hello everyone, Scott Friesen here at Simpletivity, helping you to get more done and enjoy less stress. And let's get started off with just a quick definition of what is time blocking. Well, essentially, time blocking is all about putting things that are not appointments or meetings onto your calendar. Your calendar probably already looks a little bit like what I've got here in my example. I've got a variety of meetings, I've got interviews, I've got things that I actually physically have to be a part of, or maybe a phone call that I need to participate in. But sometimes it can be very effective to put in tasks as a part of our calendar as well. Let's say that there's a report that I've just been deferring all week long. I've just never found time to write this particular report. Well, if I need to get it done before the weekend, a very effective thing to do would be for me to come in here, create an event, and just say, write the report, right? I want to block it out. I want to make sure that I don't have any other meeting, anything else that conflicts with this time, so I can get this task done. However, you can see that this task looks very much the same as to all of my other appointments, all of my other meetings on this calendar. Now, I could go in here, I could edit it, and I could change the color if I wanted to. I can make it green, for example, so it's going to stand out a little bit here. But we are using Google Calendar, so there is a much more effective way to do time blocking within Google Calendar. So let me delete this example here. And the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to My Calendars. And I'm going to create a few different calendars for the different types of tasks, the different aspects of my life. Now you'll see here the very first one is my default calendar. It's called Scott's Calendar. This is the one where people are using my primary email address. They're inviting me to meetings and appointments, and I'm doing the same. All of these things here are part of my default calendar. And the next two below I've unchecked. These are reminders and tasks which are built right into Google Calendar, but I'm not going to make use of them as a part of today's example. What I want to do is I want to create a few additional calendars. So I'm going to go down to Other Calendars, and I'm going to hit the plus button, and I'm going to say Create New Calendar. Now the first one I'm going to say select or create is going to be called Work. This is where I'm going to be putting work tasks, not work meetings, but work tasks. I'm going to hit Create Calendar, and the nice thing is it is actually going to keep us in this menu. I'm going to add a few additional calendars here all at the same time. I'm going to add a personal calendar for some personal activities. I'm also going to add sometimes it takes a second. I'm going to add a exercise calendar, making sure that I fit in enough exercise as a part of my week. And I'm going to add one more in my example. This one I'm going to call travel. And you'll see I'm not going to use it for things like my commute, but I'm going to use it for things that maybe I don't usually travel at a certain time of day or a certain distance, and I'm going to put that in. So now, under my calendars, you can see that I have them listed here. Now, Google Calendar has chosen a bunch of very similar colors here, so I'm going to go in and change this. I'm going to change travel to maybe more of a blue color, work. I'm going to change to, let's use like a green color. It's nice to have some, different shades in here. There we go. It's going to be a bit easier to see the differences between my calendars here. So let's go back to that first example where I need to write a report. Again, I'm going to do it here between 9 and 11. So I'm just going to click and I'm going to drag. And when I release, the first thing I'm going to do, even before I add the title, I guess it doesn't matter which order you do this in. I have the tendency to come down here and I'm going to select the activity first. This is a work activity. So I'm going to say work and I'm going to say write the report, just like we did before. And I'm going to hit save. Now, not only do I have the different color, but it's actually a different calendar. Let's add a few more examples just for fun here. Maybe let's say the first thing I need, team meeting is maybe the first thing on Monday, but I got a lot of email that's going to be coming at me on Monday morning. So I'm going to say process email. I want to get through all of that email first thing Monday morning. So that's another work activity. I'm going to hit save there. And maybe let's add one more thing. Maybe I'm going to review. I'm interviewing a candidate on Wednesday. So I'm going to say over here on Tuesday afternoon, I'm going to say review job applicant, their application there. And again, that's going to be a work activity. I'm going to hit save. So right away, I can tell just at a glance that these 3 items are different, right? I don't have to physically be somewhere. I don't have to call in to a conference call. These are work-related tasks, and they show up very differently than my other appointments here. Let's try and fit in a few other things as a part of our day. Exercise is very important, and I like to go for a run on a regular basis. So let's put in some exercise here for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to start again. I'm going to say go for a run. This time, of course, I'm going to change it to exercise, and I'm going to make this one recurring. Actually, it's not a full hour; it's just a half-hour run. I'm going to go into more options, and I'm going to go down to my repeat option here. Instead of does not repeat, I'm going to say it's none of these. So I'm going to say custom. I'm going to say Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I'm going to say done. I'm going to hit save, and now you can see this is going to go on beyond just this week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And let's say on Thursdays, I get together with some friends, and in the late afternoon, we play some pickup basketball. So I'm going to put that one in. Here on Thursday afternoon, I'm going to pick exercise so I can see that it stands out. And then again, the nice thing is that I can get this overview of not only when these things are happening, but am I fitting in enough exercise as a part of my weekly routine? All right, obviously there's going to be some personal activities, and maybe I've got a lunch scheduled with a friend on Tuesday. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to say lunch with Jane, and we're going to change that to personal. It's not work related, or at least not directly related to my work, so I'm going to put that as a personal activity here. And then maybe on Wednesday night I've got dinner with friends. So I'm going to put that one in. Here, again, choose the correct calendar and hit save. So I've got a few personal things that stand out as a part of it as well. And the only other calendar that we haven't used in our example is travel. In this case, I'll usually use something like this, not for my everyday commute, not for the things that I'm doing on a regular basis, but let's say I've got this community breakfast. This is an early breakfast, and I need to travel downtown to attend. So this is different than my other days. So what I'm going to do here is at 6 a.m., I'm going to say leave for downtown. And I'm going to put that to my travel calendar. So I want it to stand out a little bit more here, right? I want to make sure that I fit that in, that, oh yeah, I got to get there by a certain time. Sometimes another way that I'll use a travel calendar is that if I'm leaving for like the airport, for example, I know when I need to be at the airport. I know when my flight is leaving, but sometimes we don't calculate, how much time we need to give ourselves to actually get to the airport. So maybe I'm leaving for the airport on Friday afternoon. I need to be at the airport at 4, so that means I need to leave my house at about 3. So here I'm going to say leave for airport. And again, we're going to choose that travel calendar. So again, I've got that built in. I know when I should be jumping into my car and leaving for the airport. So it does look like a bit of a kaleidoscope, a bit like a bit of a rainbow, I guess you could say here, of different activities here. But the other nice thing about Google Calendar and separating out your activities by different areas in your life is that you can, of course, hide and minimize and just focus in on certain activities. So let's say I just want to hide my work activities. I'm going to hide my work calendar and my work tasks. I can take a look and say, okay, I've got, I'm going to get my exercise in this week. Here's when I need to pay special attention of leaving. And, I've got lunch with Jane and dinner with friends. That's nice. Maybe there's something else I should fit in there just for me, or maybe there's something else I should reach out to a friend. This is where sort of that balance comes into play as you can zero in on different activities. Let me enable some of these other calendars again, and I want to show you one more tip, which you may think is just for fun, but I actually think it can be very effective. Of course, the colors help things to stand out from other calendars and other events in your time blocking calendar. But there's one other way that I sometimes add an additional way to make things stand out, and that is by adding emojis. And no, I'm not kidding. I use a website called Emojipedia on a regular basis, and you can just search for emojis as you want. So in this example, I'm going to go grab this man running emoji. I'm going to select copy, which just copies it to my clipboard. And then I'm going to go back up to this recurring run event. And I'm going to hit edit. And at the very beginning of it, you can do it at the end as well, but I'm going to paste it in there. I'm going to hit save. I want it to be applied to all of my events. And so now, it may be a little hard to see with that purple background. I can always change that color, of course. I've got this little sort of running man out in front, which again, sometimes just makes it stand out that much more than everything else on this screen. So I hope you found this video helpful as you consider time blocking within Google Calendar. I would love to hear from you next. Do you have additional suggestions as how to time block within your calendar? Or do you have further questions about how to effectively time block within Google Calendar? Make sure to let me know down in the comments below. And remember, being productive does not need to be difficult. In fact, it's very simple.